Hi guys, today I'm going to share with you how to process your emotions in a healthy way. So, this week my task was to listen to my body and process my emotions in a healthy way. Most of my life I've been on autopilot and just using food to cope and numbing my feelings and emotions by binging. Stopping that pattern isn't easy, but it's the most rewarding thing that I could possibly do. So, I've been ignoring myself and what's on inside for years now, and I've worked out that I deserve better than this. You always hear people say that they need to find themselves, and I thought that I'd done that. Like, I'm following my passions, I surround myself with like minded people, and I do things that make me happy. But on the surface, it feels like I'm giving myself everything that I could possibly want, but there's still something missing. Then this part of my life has always been a problem. And so my way of dealing with it has been to ignore it and pretend like it doesn't exist at all. But I'm ready now to change that. And I can get to know myself a little bit, which I haven't been doing. The missing part for me has been listening to my body and listening to my emotions and what's really going on inside. I was using food to make myself feel safe and loved and supported. It was like my security blanket. I could trust it. It always met my expectations. It never lied. It never let me down. In my mind, food equaled love and safety. So I'm working on rewiring that connection and giving myself all the things that I was getting from food, but in a different way. So, step one is to acknowledge your feelings. Now, when I get the urge to eat, I check in with my body and determine if it's actual hunger coming from my stomach or if it's a strong need to consume a specific food and it's like I have to eat it immediately and it's coming from my head. Um, so, if the feeling's coming from my mind, then I take a pause and work out what I really want because it's usually not the actual food that I need. It's a feeling of relief or filling a void. So, step two is to change the pattern. Instead of giving in to the feeling this week, I've been sitting with myself and doing some investigating into what I really need, what I'm avoiding, and what I'm running away from on the inside. It's really easy to fall into the pattern of being the victim and thinking that there's nothing that you can do to change your circumstances. So, I've been doing this with food my whole life and avoiding my feelings. So that brings us to step number three. Step number three is to stay accountable. This week, to stay accountable, I've been taking on the role of the hero. So, coming in to save the day, taking responsibility for my actions, acknowledging that there's a problem, and actually taking action to solve the problems. It's been a big mindset shift to think this way. So I've tried many times before and failed, but I know that I'm ready to do it now. Step number four, get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. Changing a habit can be so uncomfortable. If you've been doing something your entire life and then suddenly you change it, it just feels weird to suddenly be different. It's like, who am I without this? Or what does my life even look like now? I'm so used to thinking about food all the time. So now I have to get really comfortable feeling uncomfortable so I can discover who the new me is. Step number five, give yourself what you need. Listening to your feelings requires more than just acknowledging a feeling. Once you figure out what's making you upset or angry or anxious, you have to take action to change the situation so that it doesn't keep happening. Self love is having that hard talk with someone, or setting healthy boundaries, leaving a toxic relationship, quitting a job that you hate, or changing an unhealthy habit. It's finding out what's not working for you and changing it so that you can live a life that makes you feel fulfilled, supported, and happy. So, here's my top 4 tips to make the process a little bit easier. Tip number one is drink lots of water. Some days I'd forget to drink water and it would just give me the worst headache. So, when your body is releasing energetically things that it no longer needs, you need to stay hydrated to flush out those extra toxins, just like you would after you get a massage. Tip number two, self soothing. When cutting out binge eating, I needed to find what I was emotionally getting from food and try to give that to myself in a different way. So if I needed rest, I could take a break. If I was bored, I could find something to entertain myself with. If I was angry, I could dance to some heavy music and get the energy out of my body. So this week I actually listened to Down with the Sickness by Disturbed so many times, and I just danced like crazy and shook it all out and got that angry energy out of my body. So whatever works for you. If I was feeling unsafe, I could comfort myself by saying, like, you are safe, it's okay, and just talking to that inner child. Finding the cause of why I wanted to binge is the key to being able to self-soothe without food. So tip number 3 is find positive ways to release emotions. Some things that I use are journaling, tapping, dancing, punching, but don't punch people, punching the air or a pillow or something, walking, having a shower, or even just talking to a friend. So I actually did a reel this week on Instagram with different ways to process your emotions. So check it out if you haven't already. Tip number 4 is check in with yourself often. I found that at least twice a day minimum would allow me to really get to know what's going on the inside. So sometimes it can be hard if there's people around, and I found myself sneaking off to maybe like the toilet or in the car just to check in with myself. Find somewhere that's really safe and then just give yourself some time. So how am I feeling now that I've completed the week? I'm actually feeling quite raw and emotional, but at the same time, feeling supported and cared for and heard by myself, which is really nice. I've always had this slight anxious feeling in my gut, and I've noticed that when I listen to what's going on inside, that feeling subsides a little bit, and it's like calm and peaceful. So I'm getting those little glimpses of inner peace, and I know that I want to continue to feel my feelings more and listen to my body. The more I do that, the closer I'm getting to that feeling of inner peace to last forever. This is just week 1 of my journey, and it's been an excellent start, and I'm so proud of all the changes that I've made this week, and I want to continue to do this every day for the rest of my life until it becomes second nature for me. I know there's going to be ups and downs, but I'm just going to keep going one day at a time. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you found this interesting. I'd love to hear your feedback, and let me know if you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. See ya.